Okay guys, welcome to another episode of Not Financial Advice. Dahil syempre nag-iingat tayo na hindi mambudol ng mga tao at magbigay ng maling advice. I'm with Tito G. What's up, Tito?
Yon, hello. Kamusta?
Okay naman. Maganda ang Bitcoin ngayon
Yes, 109.
Mga 109 tayo, nung paggising ko. And I was surprised nga kasi over the weekend, akala ko baka bababa siya over the weekend. Hindi, nag-hold siya at 108. Tapos from there, umakyat pa to 109. Sabi ko, nag-hold. Inaantay ko kasi baka may buy order ako ng 106 kung tumama. Hindi na tumama. Sabi ko, okay. Ano tingin mo nangyari this last week na pumunta tayo ngayon to 109? Kasi, di ba medyo bearish ka ng konti on Bitcoin for the week eh.
Last week, nung nagkukwentuhan tayo, yung chart-wise, nandun siya sa medyo tok-tok nung parallel channel. Diba? And then I think Thursday, bumasag siya.
Yes.
Nag-break out sa parallel channel. I'm waiting for a confirmation nung Friday. Sabi ko sana maganda kung long green yung closing.
Yes.
Nag-close naman tayo ng green pero hindi siya long green.
Okay.
So what happened was usually pagka ganun kasi sa price action, titingnan mo yung strength ng bulls di ba?
Yes.
So, imaginein mo, binasag nila yung parallel channel with a long green candle. Lumusot sila.
Okay.
So we are waiting for a follow through na isang long green uli as a confirmation na yes, ito na, breakout na. So makikita mo na may lakas yung bulls. But what happened was medyo pumreno. Kaya nag-consolidate tayo over the weekend. So I think catalyst ang inaantay natin. So
okay.
But right now chart-wise we're trading outside na doon sa parallel channel.
Okay, so we are outside officially.
Yes.
Okay.
But usually what we don't want to see is tumagal yung consolidation ng walang malakas na basag because pag gaganon, imaginein mo yung battle ng between bulls and bears, di ba? So kung halimbawa, yung recently na nangyari, no airstrike, i-compare ko airstrike ng US sa Iran.
Yes, okay.
Di ba? Pag airstrike nila sa mga nuclear facilities, may sumunod na mga troops para sweep.
Yes.
So usually, ganun ang ginagawa You have to sweep the area para totally wipe out yung kalaban.
Okay.
So usually, pag airstrike mo, ground troops susunod. Okay? So sa battle ng between bulls and bears, usually pagka ganon, pag nakita mo na bumasag siya ng malakas, dapat sundan mo yan Ratratin mo na yan dire-diretso para tuloy-tuloy ka na. So, otherwise, makakapag-ipunan lakas yung bears and parang maglalabanan na naman kayo, di ba? So, ito yung tinitignan natin. Siguro in a few days pa makikita natin kung kaya bang mag-push up pa ng mga bulls. So, again, catalyst kailangan natin.
Wow, catalyst down. Pwede rin. Kasi right now, darating na nga yung deadline ni Trump on his tariff pause. On July 9, that's the end of it. Yung with China, if I remember correctly. Ano tingin mo mangyayari dito?
Yung sa mga negotiations nila, parang ang significant lang na nagkaroon is yung with China, Vietnam, and Europe The rest of the countries, nung over the weekend, pinadala niya na ng sulat Ito yung mga tariff rates ninyo. Di ba? So,
pero wala namang effect.
Wala Parang priced in na yung kung ano man yung mga tariff news, hindi na surprising sa market. Especially kasi ang biggest naman kasi talaga na may tariff effect, yung tatlo. Diba? China, right. Europe, and Vietnam. Diba?
Okay.
Yan yung mga malalaking trading partners ng US Tayo, the Philippines, and the rest,
insignificant.
Hindi ganun kalaki. So most likely, traders have already factored in itong nangyayari sa tariff ngayon.
Pero at the same time, kasi tingin ko, yung mga traders ngayon, at saka all the money, alam na nila na parang there's a boy who cried wolf, who cried too many times. At ito, Trump na naman, up or down, alam na nila. So tama ka, kaya na-price na yan. Kumbaga, na-neutralize na nila
to. Kumbaga wala na surprise, di ba?
Oo, ito na presyo either way. Parang gano'n.
Yes.
Pero tingin ko lang kasi, right now, based naman on mga historical data, parang July is going to be a very strong month for Bitcoin in this cycle. Sa mga nakikita ko, according to history, pag tinignan mo yung past cycles, ito yung month where it starts to take it to the new to that next level. At ang mga nakikita kong sinasabi nga ngayon ng mga tao ay mga parang 120. We're gonna see that breakout daw this month.
This month, 120.
This month. Yeah, yun ang sinasabi nila. So, if ako naman, if it happens, it'll happen before July 20. Pag hindi mangyari before July 20 yan, wala na. Then we're heading to the August bear month. Ayun na.
Yeah. So usually, ako naman, based sa observation ko sa market na, overall market in general, so the usual summer in US and Europe, medyo matamla yung volume, and then you'll go to the ghost month, and then September. So usually, October, di ba?
Yes, October.
Umakyat, October, tapos Moonvember. So,
right.
Yun yung based dun sa napapansin ko na cycle ng market on a yearly, na yearly na galaw niya, yun yung mga months na medyo mas magaganda. Etong months ng summer, usually flat siya.
Yes.
So there's also a chance na posible mag-consolidate tayo, not unless we have a really, really huge catalyst.
Okay. So yun kasi nga ako naman, if I remember nga every year, I didn't see July as a big month pero it was weird for me na nakita ko yung mga ibang analysts dyan that were saying no, this July should be a strong month. Pero I naniniwala ako na kahit malakas tong July, there will be a pullback in August. I think everyone expects that na nga at this point Pero tama ka, tingin ko pa rin October, November, December is looking like it's going to be strong, stronger than what I originally thought. Pero tingin ko with that strength, by next year, mukhang may malakas na pullback din yan.
Posible yan, posible. So, actually ngayon, tingin mo, nasa wait and see, di ba? So,
yeah.
Ako dinadijust ko recently yung mga nangyayari in terms of macro and the news, no, recently. Ito ngang kanina lang, meron akong binabasa na news na bakit despite ang daming mga institutions na bumibili ng Bitcoin through the ETF, through corporate treasury, nakastock pa rin yung price, di ba? So, yun yung tanong ng karamihan, bakit hindi nagmumun si Bitcoin? Considering na may mga institutional interest tayo ngayon.
Well, para sa akin kasi, karamihan kasi ng mga institutional interest and institutional buys are on what they call OTC. Okay, over the counter. Over the counter is not on the exchange. At dahil doon, yung presyo ay negotiated na yan para nga hindi gumalaw yung presyo kasi ang hirap mag-trade ng millions, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. So, ang hirap naman yung magta-trade ka, biglang pumapatak yung presyo ng ganyan. So, that's why OTC does not move the price of Bitcoin. Yun yung isang explanation doon. Ano take mo dito?
Merong article si CryptoQuant about that naman. Yung as a buyers ngayon, pag yung pagbili ngayon itong mga institutions, mas lesser compared when they're buying noong November. Yes.
In terms of volume?
In terms of number of Bitcoins that they're buying.
Okay.
Probably because nung November, December, or mas mababa yung price.
Mas mababa price,
diba?
exactly, yeah.
So kasi, ganito lang yan. So for example, you want to buy a, let's say a fruit, an apple, for example, di ba? Kung nung November, December, ang presyo ng mansanas, 100 pesos per apple. So let's say you have 1,000 pesos, you can buy 10 apples, di ba? But right now, kung ang presyo is around, let's say, 200 pesos na, you can only buy 5. Right. So mas konti na bibili nila dahil mas mataas na yung presyo ngayon.
Okay, kasi ako naman, tinitignan ko yan from the dollar value. At tingnan mo yung dollar value kasi on average, ang inflow ng Bitcoin through the ETFs is about 300 million on average, month on month. Daily. Daily average is about 300 million. Yun yung back a few months ago nung chinek. Hindi ko alam kung nagbago ngayon. Pero tama ka nga, with the same amount, less ang nakuha mong Bitcoin. Therefore, kaya hindi masyado nagmo-move. That's what you're saying nga. Kasi hindi kasing dami ng Bitcoin ang nawawala sa exchange or nawawala in circulation compared to before.
Yes, hindi kasing dami ng Bitcoin na binibili nila compared to before. Although, pwede natin sabihin na they are using the same dollar amount.
Yes, the same dollar amount. But at the same time, I think lalong dumadami din kasi mga bumibili pa rin ng Bitcoin and nababawasan na ngayon mga Bitcoins on exchanges and even on OTC. It's at an all-time low right now. It's still a significant number pero all-time low pa rin siya That I think eventually hahabol yung presyo.
That's true. So kumbaga pag tinignan mo yon, maganda nga yung balita kasi long term that's bullish kasi based on the data, talagang nag-accumulate yung mga institutions, 'di ba? Nag-accumulate din yung mga yung corporations and the ETF. Pero yung effect niya kasi long term Hindi mo mararamdaman ka, kaagad-agad yung effect nila.
Yeah, at saka hindi lang yun. I remember I was doing this analysis on how much money will it take for Bitcoin's price to hit, say, 200,000 per Bitcoin. Hindi siya one-to-one in terms of market cap. Kasi hindi naman ibig sabihin, like right now, we're at, nasa 2 trillion na, no? Hindi naman ibig sabihin para umabot siya ng 4 trillion, kailangan ng another 2 trillion It's actually a multiplier of about, parang medyo malayo, mga 20x or 50x na multiplier from the money put in. Kasi remember that market cap computation is based on magkano yung presyo na binili versus how much is the actual circulating supply or supply being sold in the market. Hindi yung total supply ng Bitcoin. So it's a smaller number than what people think to drive that price up to that next level Kaya sa akin yung expectation of news, buys versus the actual price is not completely reflective of the total value placed into the market. Pero tingin mo ba right now with all the the new interest with the institutions, tingin mo kumbaga hahabol ba yung presyo eventually or does it need that catalyst that you're talking about?
Eventually kasi hahabol yung presyo.
No matter what.
No matter what. Kumbaga right now kasi if you're going to see yung mga hedge funds, they're just allocating probably not more than 3% of their funds, di ba? And ilan pa lang yung mga hedge
Actually,
funds
I was going to say,
diba?
Hindi nga 1%
Oo.
Karamihan less than 1%.
Less than 1% pa, di ba?
So tama ka doon. So unless at saka konti pa lang ngayon na pumapasok. So the more goes in, lalong magiging scarce yung Bitcoin supply, circulating supply. And karamihan kasi ng mga institutional buyers hold for the long term.
Yes, oo.
Oh,
Mahaba talaga yung PC niyang mga yan.
Yes.
So, pag bumaba yung price, mas gusto pa nila. Kasi they can buy it at a lower price, di ba? At a discounted price. So, it doesn't matter for them kung bibili sila ngayon. Pag bumaba next year, bibili ulit yung mga yan. So, yun ang laro nito mga institutions. And they're not probably gonna sell next cycle. Probably mag-hold dyan ng mga 2, 3, 4 cycles.
At saka pag tinignan mo ka, tulad nga ng BlackRock. BlackRock, when they invest, they don't invest for the short term. It's literally parang forever sila mag-invest. Like, look at their investments in the traditional finance, in legacy finance. Yung mga investments, they put money in all the big corporations and they stay. Ganon din yung balak nilang play on Bitcoin. And remember that the Bitcoin ETF is now the fastest growing and not just the fastest growing as an ETF, surpass gold many times over. It will be the biggest ETF, I think, of all their ETFs.
Yes, sa portfolio ni BlackRock, yung Bitcoin ETF niya ngayon, yung IBIT, no? I think it's the second or if not the first, no, na profitable ETF sa kanya. So meaning to say, yung interest nandoon, di ba?
Yeah.
So kung imaginein mo, for example, you are a business and then you're selling certain number of products, di ba?
Yeah.
So, syempre, you're going to push a product na mas malaki kita mo.
Oo.
Diba?
Alam mo, I think if you can check on this, guys, pero I think it is the most profitable. Kasi remember when BlackRock got into Bitcoin and they started buying, it was at how much? We were at mga $30,000 per Bitcoin.
40,000 lang muna sila pumasok.
Parang 25 pa lang nga when they announced it, if I remember correctly. So talagang sobrang profitable niya. Saan ka makakita ng ganyang klaseng ETF na nag 3x or 4x by the time you announce it to the time that where we are now. Kaya tingin ko talaga I would not surprise me that it's the most profitable
Yes. So long game pa rin, 'di ba? Long game pa rin 'yan. And mas gusto nga nila yung ganito na steady yung price kasi they can accumulate
Pero Tito, anong take mo naman with regards to yung mga short sellers natin ngayon? Marami ba? Maraming short sellers ba right na nakaantay dyan?
Hindi ako nagmo-monitor kasi ng mga naka-leverage na position But usually, kasi nga ang konti na ng Bitcoin sa exchanges, so andali lang talagang pitikin ng price to squeeze the longs and the shorts. So what usually happens when Bitcoin's price is consolidating, usually puro squeeze ang nangyayari. When there's too much leverage ng mga longs, usually the price will just go down very, very quick to liquidate majority of these longs, and then it will go back to the range. Diba? Nakita naman natin, nagre-range siya si Bitcoin from 100 to 110 Nandyan lang siya. Pero, ang nakakatuwa at nakakatawa, ang daming naliliquidate kahit na nandun lang yung price.
Kasi maraming hindi pa rin marunong mag-position size eh. 'Di ba? Kaya naliliquidate pa rin eh. So, pero ngayon tingin ko nga right now mukhang may consolidation nga towards the upside yan eh. And I think I'm gonna be a little bit more optimistic yung on your parallel channel. Tingin ko you're gonna create a new parallel channel na from here eh.
The bigger parallel channel, kasi the one that I showed you last episode, that was the daily parallel channel, the downward sloping. So it's forming like a flag. It's forming like a flag. So yun yung sinasabi ko na nag-breakout. But there is the bigger parallel channel sa weekly na upward sloping naman siya. So right now, so syempre since upward sloping, yung resistance doon, paakyat ang paakyat.
Meron ka.
Yes.
Okay.
Kaya kanina nung sinasabi mo na 120, pag tinignan ko yung parallel channel ko, most likely nandun sa 118, 119 na yung next resistance.
Yes.
Kung pipitikin siya ngayong week na to, o next week, o sabi mo this July, talagang pwede niyang tamaan yung dulo ulit yung parallel channel.
Kaya pala. Okay, so iba palang time frame yung pinag-uusapan natin. Kaya
Yes.
downward yung isa, upward yung isa.
Yes.
Yung shorter time frame yung downward na nakikita mo.
Yes.
For trading.
That's
more for trading. Okay, ganun pala yun. So Tito, magka-commercial break ako, kasi napansin ng mga tao, nag-uusap tayo ngayon, at nakikita mo sa likod namin, ay isang Bored Ape. Yan, Tito, look at that. And yes, I own that Bored Ape.
Ayan.
Yes, Bored Ape number 7391. Proud member na ako ng Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Oy. So, for sure, curious ang mga nanonood ngayon. Bakit Bored Ape at bakit ngayon pa?
Kasi sa mga may hindi alam, kasi ang Bored Ape ngayon ay yun yung trend ng NFTs, 'di ba? Yun yung trend na sumikat nung time na 2021 at the last cycle at bumagsak na ng over 90%.
So on sale.
So ngayon, I know, and plus the NFTs are dead. Would you believe in that statement? NFTs are dead?
Most likely majority of them, yes. But there will, I think, pagdating dito sa NFT na to, this will still be a part of a category sa crypto eh.
Yes.
Maybe pag nag-resurrect yan, pwedeng ibahin lang yung tawag. Pwedeng hindi na NFT. But it will still be something na related doon sa art. Kasi this is an art di ba? Tung Bored Ape, this is an art, this is a membership. So, may category pa rin sa crypto na yan pa rin, mariretain pa rin yan for me. Hindi yan mawawala.
Hindi naman dead, pero kumbaga parang in limbo lang ngayon.
In limbo lang. But, of course, majority dead. But only a few will probably survive.
Okay. Kasi sa akin, with regards to NFTs, I never bought, by the way, in the craze, the NFT craze of 2021, sinasabi ko sa tao, wag kayong magsugal dito. Wag kayong bibili ng mga ganyang art na yan. Walang kwenta lahat yan. Sinabi ko yun. And I still stand by that. And alam mo, sa akin, sabi ko, babagsak yan in 2020. Sabi ko, pag bumili ka, bebenta mo 10x, 100x, subukan mo ibenta. May bibili ba? Good luck sa'yo. So, talagang against ako dito. And for me, that's why I think people were surprised na bumili ako. And yung logic ko naman dito kasi was, yung sa Bored Apes, I looked at this Bored Ape and sa akin, nakita ko na, first of all, bumaba na nga siya ng over 90%. Okay? Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, it's bought and sold using Ethereum. Ether, yung token ng Ethereum. So, hindi ako nagko-convert ng pera to, I'm not out of crypto. Kumbaga, hindi ko naman binili to in US dollars eh. Binili
Ethereum
ko to using Ethereum. At nakita ko, nung bumagsak na siya in 2022, in 2023, nag-hold siya at the price right now of about 8 to 10, up to 12 Ether per Bored Ape. So naglalaro siya doon. At naglalaro lang siya doon kahit ano pang mangyaring mga bad news at yung iba talagang bumagsak na hindi na nag-recover, nag-retain yung value at mataas ang 10 to 12 Ether. Mataas yun.
Oo.
And people were still buying. Tapos tinignan ko, inobserve ko yung trading volume niya over the last month. Isang buwan ko ito pinanood Tinignan ko, it was still doing about mga 70 to 100 Ether trade per day.
Malaki pa rin.
Malaki pa rin. Sabi ko, malaki pa rin yun. Significant yan per
Yes.
day. Tapos tinignan ko, 10,000 Bored Apes lang yan. Tapos yung tinitrade lang na Bored Apes are just about 220 to 240.
Ano yun, in a month?
Per day. Per day nakita mo mga binibenta. Just around 200 lang ang binibenta. No more than 200 plus.
So, ibig sabihin, majority naka-huddle.
Naka-huddle. Sinignan ko, even yung mga binibenta, yung iba pumipitik biglang 5 years, biglang pop, lalabas binibenta na. Tapos may iba naman, nakikita ko, konti lang yung nakikita kong tinetrade on a daily, yung binili dito, bebenta, ganun. Most are holding for long. So, doon ko nakita na teka lang, parang okay to. And ito, sabi ko, parang okay siya kasi wala naman akong risk kasi the price is already at a low. If it goes lower, it'll go up to down to 8, sabihin natin. I'm prepared for my Bored Ape to go down to a price of 8. Why? Kasi by then, tingin ko yung price of Ethereum has gone up anyway.
So parang mag-i-even out siya,
Yes, mag-i-even out din yan and I'll still be up
But I think pag tataas ang price ng Ethereum, most likely, price nito tataas din
Yun exactly. So tapos sabi ko nga, I am buying this for the long term. And I like what I bought. I like this Bored Ape. Kaya nga it took me a month kasi nagtitingin ako talaga ng isang Bored Ape that resonates with me. Naganap ako na saan dito yung pag tinitignan ko araw-araw, tuwan-tuwa ako. Saan dito yung pag nilagay ko sa telepono ko, Tito, ayan, tuwan-tuwa ako. Yung parang, wow, ito yung tignan mo yung Bored Ape ko. Yan, di ba? Yung ganyan Kaya nakita mo yan, di ba? So, I was looking for something that resonated with me. Hindi lang basta bumili ako na, dahil may trait na gano'n. Sabi ko, ano ba yung parang nararamdaman ko na gusto ko pagmayabang? Yun, may nagtanong saan, ano ba ang value ng Bored Ape pag member ka niyan? Sabi ko, wala. Actually, pupunta ka sa mga parties. I don't even like going to parties. Big community. I don't even join communities, nor do I really care to. So why did I buy it? Wala lang, natutuwa lang ako sa itsura ng ape na to. Bored. Yun lang, kaya
yun ang isa sa mga maganda, no? Kasi, pagka bumili ka talaga ng ganito, para siyang para siyang for example a watch, 'di ba?
Yes.
'Di ba? Minsan yung iba bibili ng mahal na watch, minsan bibili ng Rolex. Yung mga ibang hindi naman into watches, sabi, ba't ka bumili ng mahal-mahal? Parehas lang naman. Parehas ng oras yan. Pati yung Apple Watch, kaya parehas ng oras. Cellphone, di mo kaya kailangan. But you have to understand na may mga tao talaga na mahilig sa watch, nakaka-connect sila So similarly, itong Bored Ape na to, as long as kaya, nakaka-connect ka doon, di ba? Yeah. Nagre-resonate siya sa'yo. Wala, for me bumaba man tumaas may presyo niya, wala ka ng talo dyan
Wala. I honestly don't feel, I was so happy nung binili ko to Yung girlfriend ko nga natatawa sa akin, sabi, tinitingnan niya, para daw akong bata na bumili ng toy. Kasi sabi niya, ngayon lang ako nakakita ng bumili ka ng ganyan at that price. Sabi niya, tapos sabi, okay ka lang? Sabi ko, yeah. Sabi niya, nakikita niya, tuwan-tuwa ako kasi nga everyday, tinitignan ko talaga yung Bored Ape ko. Kumusta na siya, ganda-ganda niya. And ipapaskill ko yun sa bahay ko. Hindi ko alam kung digital or ipapaprint ko, I haven't decided. Plus, ang maganda dito kasi, I can monetize it by creating merchandise around my Bored Ape. So, magpapagawa talaga ako ng mga Bored Ape shirts for me. Kahit na nga walang bumili nito, akin to. And I'm gonna sell it to people that want it. But para sa akin to, I'm gonna have my Bored Ape. I'm gonna have a shirt. Who knows? Maybe I'll even make a cafe out of it. There's so many things you can do kasi pag may-ari ka ng Bored Ape for licensing. May license ako gamitin to for me, for business. So may ganun talaga. So, yung Bored and Hungry, yung may-ari nun, is a Bored Ape member na nilicense lang niya yung ape niya. Kaya pag tinignan mo yung mascot na Bored Ape dun sa Bored and Hungry na burger, yun yung Bored Ape niya. So ganun yun. So yun, kaya nung binili ko to, wala. Talagang, until now, I'm so ecstatic about it. Sayang-saya talaga ako. Naghahanap ako ng magandang digital frame para ilalabas ko to. Tapos, papagawa ko pa, ipapa-3D ko pa siya. Tapos, maghanap ako ng papagalawin ko itong Bored Ape. I don't mind, you know? So, nakakatawa bumili ako Bored Ape bago ako bumili ng EV ko, no? Hindi kasi nga, yun na yung point eh. Again, pag Bored Ape kasi, it's in ether.
Oo.
Compared to pag bumili ako ng anything in the fiat world, I convert it
You
na
have to
to
convert.
dollars
Yes.
to pesos.
Yes.
I'm out of the game. Ito, I'm not out of the game. I'm still in the game, and anytime, if I want, I think it's easier to sell this Bored Ape than if I sold a condo.
Yes.
Oh,
Tsaka
may
ano
liquidity
din
to eh.
Part din to ng parang diversification din, 'di ba? Sa portfolio mo, you
Yeah.
have the NFTs. And speaking of liquidity, yung kinukwento mo nga kanina, 70, marami 'yun ha. Kumbaga, mas mabilis i-flip to kaysa mag-flip ng condo.
Yes, exactly. At saka tinignan ko yun, by the way. Kaya it took me a month kasi tinitignan ko talaga yung movement. So nakita ko, may mga tinignan akong iba pa kasing Bored Ape nun. Sabi ko, tinignan ko to. Nabili. Tapos meron ako, 2 days later, lumabas ulit, mas taas yung price. Tapos nabenta ulit. Nabenta niya ulit. Tapos nung binenta niya, kita ko nawala, nag-list ulit. 4 days later, nabenta na naman. I was like, na-flip pala. But again, I'm not planning to flip this.
So,
I'm gonna hold this for a long time. Tuwan-tuwa talaga ako dito.
how much yung bili mo dito in ETH?
Uh,
Pwede mo ba din sabihin yon?
Pwede kasi it's
Pwede.
public naman.
Oo.
Makikita mo naman sa blockchain yan eh. 12.
12 ETH. In peso value, magkano yan?
Hindi ko alam yung peso pero
And
dollar
dollar
value,
value.
it's 2,000 ano ba eating yun? 2,600?
2004 o mga ganun.
2005. 2005. O sige, 2,500 times 12. So, 25, 30
Mga
$30,000.
Wow.
Wow!
Wow. Isang EV na nga yun.
$30,000. Oh my God. Magkano yun in pesos ba?
Mga nasa 1.7, gano'n.
Mga ganun ata. Oh.
Isang sila yun na yun, pare.
Oo nga. Para sa isang digit, hindi ko man lang mahawakan yan. Ano? Tapos gagastusan ko pa yan. Ha? Gagawin ko siya ng frame. Kaya, ano eh. Pero again, when you're in crypto kasi, hindi ko alam, iba yung spending eh when you're spending in crypto as compared to spending in fiat. Yun sa akin eh. So, pero yeah, I'm so happy with it. 7391. Tignan niyo yung Bored Ape Collection. Pag makita mo yung number 7391, makita mo yung pangalan ko dyan. And by the way, may nagtanong sa akin, you can easily just post this. Bakit daw kailangan bilhin? Sabi ko, it's the same as parang maglalabas ka ng isang artwork na hindi naman ikaw may-ari, nilagay mo sa bahay mo. Tapos hindi ikaw may-ari nun, parang ang weird lang. So anong ginawa mo? Get ka on the internet, pinrint mo, hindi naman ikaw may-ari, lalagay mo sa bahay mo, ito nilagay sa bahay mo. Hindi naman ikaw may-ari nun.
Yes. Tsaka
Parang
ano
ganun.
siya eh, if it's something that resonates to you, parang part na rin siya na achievement eh. So parang ganito yan eh. In sa real world, di ba, sometimes you can buy yung mga replicas.
Yeah.
Di ba? But kung enthusiast ka, hindi ka bibili ng replica eh, di ba?
You're gonna feel crap.
Oo, di ba? So you want to buy the real thing eh.
Yes.
So yun. So similar to Bored Ape, to NFTs, no? So you want to buy the real thing. Kasi tama naman eh. If you don't, syempre, can easily be said na bakit hindi mo na lang i-print? Bakit hindi ka na lang bumili ng replica? So if you're not in the game talaga and you don't understand the game, it can be easily said na ganun eh. Di ba? Ba't di ka na lang bumili? Mahal-mahal niyan, sayang lang. Sana bumili ka lang ng EV. Pero kung naiintindihan mo yung laro, di ba? You want the real thing.
Yeah.
You want the real thing.
Yeah. And for me, man, like this, sobrang worth na investment to for me. Sobra. I'm so happy with it. And the moment I bought it, I was parang akong tumatalon-talon ako sa saya ko. Nakita ko yung...
Bumalik ka sa pagkabata.
Oo, tuwan-tuwa talaga ako. Tapos yung pagkabili ko pa, may sinabi pa, congratulations. Parang, congratulations, you got this. Or you got it. Tapos may mga confetti pa na gumaganon
Tsaka
sa screen.
ano to eh, parang, di ba nga, halos lahat deads na eh,
Yes.
na mga NFTs eh. Pero ito, maganda pa rin yung value niya.
Yes.
Kumbaga.
Oo. Ito lang at saka yung isa pa, yung CryptoPunks.
Yun
Yung
pala.
original na
Yung parang pixelized.
Yes, yung pixelized na
yun ba? Buhay pa yun.
Yes, yun yung isa pa na yun ang mahal talaga, mga 30 plus
Hanggang
yung
ngayon,
floor price
mahal
niya.
pa.
Oo. Yun lang at ito yung talagang nakikita kong mabubuhay throughout kasi malakas yung community eh. So everything else, ewan ko lang kung may life pa ba ang NFT. Kasi NFTs are not just used for art. It's used for intellectual property. To be able to monetize and assign intellectual property and certify intellectual property para alam mo na yun, authenticate siya and everything when it comes to not just intellectual property, even real-world assets. Will use NFTs to be able to certify na etong property to ay akin at isa lang yan at wala nang iba. Ganon. So lahat to, NFTs are still gonna be around in terms of its use case. Except lang sa digital art, I think it was just an experiment for most. Pero may value pa rin yun because there are still digital art that will be sold eventually
yes.
with NFTs.
Yes.
It's going to happen. Matter of time lang, not if. So, yun.
Yes.
Kaya yun lang. So, yun ang commercial break ko. Natuwan-tuwa
Guys,
ako.
congratulations.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, so back to our programming na. O, sige. So, ano pa yung mga ibang balita natin ngayon pagdating sa mundo ng ng crypto?
Kanina sinukwento mo, 'di ba, yung about OTC, 'di ba? Recently, merong whale na gumalaw ng wallet niya, 14 years na
Yeah.
wallet na tulog, gumalaw 80,000 bitcoins worth $8 billion. Yung ginalaw niya, minove niya, tinransfer niya to a different wallet.
Yep.
So, ang daming speculation on over the weekend. Ano ba yan? Ibebenta na ba yan? O ano bang gagawin dyan? So, some are speculating na minove niya lang to probably to a secure place. Hindi naman niya kasi tinransfer sa exchange Kumbaga, nilagay niya lang to a different wallet. So, parang hinati-hati pa nga niya.
Yes.
Mga every 10,000.
Yes.
Yun yung ginawa niya. And ito ngayon yung binabantayan. Ito yung mainit ngayon. Kasi binabantayan nga nito dahil baka mamaya lumipat sa exchanges. So,
Marami yan.
diba? Marami. But ano tingin mo dito?
Okay, so number one, the speculation is Roger Ver. Kung di nyo kilala ko si Roger Ver, siya yung what they used to call, was still called Crypto Jesus. Sorry, oh my God, sacrilege. Bitcoin Jesus pala. Maxi tong si Roger Ver. And I remember he was one of the first people na napanood ko sa mga docus about Bitcoin back in 2015. Pag tignan mo itong mga, panoorin nyo to on YouTube, makikita mo itong mga docu na to. Si Roger Ver yung isa, siya, si Antonopoulos, sina Max Kaiser, yun yung mga nauna And si Roger Ver was living in Japan that time. And he had all these Bitcoins, pinamimigay pa nga niya yan sa mga tao. So, 99% sure daw si Roger Ver to. He's facing extradition from a prison in Spain.
Oh.
Yep. So, pero minove daw niya to different wallets daw kasi nga he's trying to siguro secure them na para hindi lang nasa isang wallet and kaya niya to ginagawa. I don't think he's gonna sell anytime soon. 11 years, nakita mo na kung saan pumunta ang Bitcoin. Ngayon ka magbebenta.
Yes,
when
yes.
you know, ganun kalakas ang conviction mo na when you bought it nung time na 14 years later was 2011. Mga nasa less than $1 ang Bitcoin.
Yes.
Binili mo na nga, less than $1. Sabi na 75 cents siya ata, if I remember correctly. That's $75,000 ginastos mo. Tingin mo talaga, ibebenta niya yun ngayon, Tito? Nakita mo
actually, as sinasabi dun sa article, marami pang hawak yung wallet na yun. Hindi lang 80,000.
Hindi lang yun.
Yes. So, but
Wow.
I don't think, eto naman yung speculation ko. Kaya nga sabi ko sa iyo kanina, yung sinasabi mo na OTC, no? I think part of it, posibleng gawin niyang, convert niya into USDT, part of it. And primarily, not just because of profit, but primarily for liquidity.
Yes.
We have to understand na sobrang konti na ng liquidity nga na nasa exchanges, di ba? And all of these institutions wants to be on board. Ngayon, kung for example, ako si BlackRock. Hindi ako pwedeng bumili sa sa exchange kasi I can push the price up. Ngayon, if I know someone na who holds a chunk, a block, 'di ba? I can probably negotiate. Sige, bilhin ko na 'yan
At a premium.
Pwede at a premium at negotiated price and then you just transfer it to me. Para may hawak na ako. Posible. Kasi in the stock market, ang tawag dyan, block sale.
Yep.
So, pag may bulto ka ng shares, hindi mo basta-basta pwedeng ipadaan dun sa exchange kasi pag binenta mo yun doon, you will push the price down. Diba?
Right.
So, usually, gagawin mo, you'll find a buyer na who wants to buy your block.
Oh, wow.
So, yun naman ang speculation ko. Yun naman ang posible. Which I think is good also. Kasi nga sabi ko, for liquidity purposes eh.
Tama yun, no? That makes perfect sense. And besides naman, kung meron kang ganyang karaming Bitcoin, you do need to spend it anyway. You need to go back to fiat para enjoy mo din naman yan. And I'm sure he's enjoying it right now. Pero at the same time, magandang arbitrage din yan eh. Kasi from OTC, you can always buy back at a lower price. Kasi nangyari na yun sa akin before na may gustong bumili ng Bitcoin sa akin, OTC, kumbaga OTC kasi we did it off the exchange,
Wallet to wallet
wallet kami. As soon as binenta ko, I bought again on the exchange.
Kasi you have USDT, you have cash,
Yeah,
di ba?
and the person bought it from me at a premium. Kasi talagang, Chris, gusto ko talaga itong bilhin. Ako, I'm not selling eh. What if I offer you a premium? Tinignan ko yung presyo on the exchange. Ayaw niya bumili sa exchange. Tinignan ko yung presyo in offer. Malaki yung difference. Sabi ko, malaki yung spread na sige, binenta ko na, bumili ako. Ganon. And I think that could definitely happen din eh, in this case. Pero it makes a lot of sense nga. Kasi even if this guy holds that much Bitcoin, ayaw niyang ma-damage yung price. Kasi damage hindi lang yung bebenta niya, lahat ng holding niya, bababa yung value. So siya mag-iingat siya, kaya OTC yan. So in the same breath na sinasabi mo na, o tinatanong ng mga tao, bakit hindi umaakit ang presyo pag bumibili OTC, that they're complaining about, that's also what is holding the price up, is the fact that OTC is not pushing it up, it also doesn't pull it down. Diba?
Yes.
So it's actually a good thing, not a bad thing, na walang effect yung OTC sa movement ng price overall.
Yes. Tsaka din to eh. For me, sa stock market, ang tawag namin dito, yung classic na changing of the guards, yung changing of hands. Diba? So kumbaga, may bago kang participant sa market. For example, itong institutions na to, na maraming bala. Diba? So for example, kung that particular whale, nung binili niya yan ng 14 years ago, he only has so much money.
Yes, to buy it.
To buy it, di ba?
Yes, oo.
So probably ngayon, hindi niya kayang i-push yung price higher.
Right.
Di ba? But if a new hands na merong balang marami, di ba, na kayang i-push yung price, syempre kailangan niya ng
Yes. That makes perfect sense. So nga, kasi nga kung siya, hawak na niya yan, tapos hindi na siya makakabili he will not be able to buy that for the same price. Pero the new hand bought it at this price. Sa kanya, kaya ko bumili na I have to buy more. Sa kanya parang,
mag-average up yung new hand.
Yes, oo. At saka para sa kanya, parang siya yung dating may-ari when it was at 76 cents compared to now, yan yung 76 cents niya is the 109,000. And for them, it's just like, I'll buy more at this price, no problem. Which adds more people into the ecosystem. Galing, oh. Actually, i-relate ko lang, yun isa pa lang napansin ko sa binili ko na Bored Ape. Yung mga nakikita ko nagbebenta kasi we're selling it when they bought it at parang 0.4 Ether. Nakita ko yung jump 0.4, may mga iba, 0.4, binenta ngayon at 10, 12. Nakita ko talaga tumalo na binili nila nung time na yun. So nag-change din ng hands yun eh. At yung iba naman, binili at mataas, binenta na rin ng pababa, gano'n, nag-change lang ng hands. So, pero marami ako nakita na nabuhay from back in 2021 na ngayon lang binibenta yung mga Bored Apes nila.
Kasi if you're holding a lot, di ba? It doesn't make sense just to huddle it. Kasi, let's say for example, majority ikaw may hawak.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense na hahawakan mo lang siya kasi hindi gagalaw yung price.
Yep.
So useless yung panghawak mo.
Right.
Hindi gagalaw yung price eh. But if you provide liquidity, may ibang player na papasok, pwede tumaas yung price eh. Pwedeng gumalaw yung price. So yun yung actually that news for me, long-term bullish eh. Kasi kumbaga kumawala siya sa, diba? Gumalaw siya eh. So ibig sabihin, gumalaw. Tignan mo pag kinorelate mo, di ba? Gumalaw siya, lumabas siya, ang tagal na nakastock, tapos you have these institutions who wants to buy, di ba? So parang, imaginein mo kung last cycle niya binenta yon nang walang institution na sasalo. Yep. Di ba?
That's all. Pero tama ka, no? Merong chart nga pala with regards to Bitcoin holders and how long they hold eh. Yung long-term holder chart. pag makikita mo yon, pag pataas yung price of Bitcoin, yung mga long-term holders are going, lumalabas. Nag-open up yung mga wallets as the price goes up. So that is a bullish sign eh. As it goes up, then the long-term holders, lalong dumadami nagbubukas sa wallet. So nababawasan yung long-term holding ng Bitcoin. Bumababa yung Bitcoin that's been held long. Tapos yun ang correlation. It's an inverse correlation. Tapos that's what drives that price up. So yes, that's actually a bullish indicator kung tinignan mo. Wow, okay. Exciting to ah.
Oo, yes,
So,
yes.
At saka hindi lang yun hindi lang siya yung 80,000 eh. Kasi before him, nag-open up na wallet with 10,000 din eh. Na lumabas at may mga dalawa pa ako nabasa na nag-open up na mga long-term wallets that are not from that 80,000. It's a different one eh.
So this cycle lang yan, di ba?
Yeah,
So,
this last couple of weeks.
pero yung price, di ba, steady lang siya.
Yes, oo.
Steady lang siya.
So, kaya tingin ko nga, all of this, there's a confluence of factors that are gonna cause the price to, violently go up. And I think talaga na given that, maganda yung outlook ko for the last quarter. Maganda. Meron pang chance for everyone to come in August, September before this massive move up. And then pag umakyat na yan, yung baba niya, hindi ko na masabi sa inyo kung yung pullback niya will be even lower than what it is now. Probably baka hindi na nga eh. Baka ito na yung low niya eh. So kaya kung Bitcoin holder ka ngayon, hold ka na all the way till the end of the year. And even if you sell, take a chance kasi even if it pulls back, I don't know how much the pullback will be. Do you think the pullback will be as big as it used to be? Na 73%? Or 67? Parang ganun eh.
Most likely, tingin ko, yes. Pero yung pullback might be very quick.
Baka hindi mo din mahabol yung pullback. Hindi mo din masalo yun, oh.
Pwedeng ganun pa rin eh. Pwedeng ganun pa rin siya. So, again, sa Bitcoin kasi, pag long term ka, you'll never go wrong eh. Proven na yan eh, di ba?
Yes.
Basta Bitcoin yan. So, yun kailangan lang tama yung mindset mo na hawakan yan, di ba? Kasi yung price talaga still volatile pa rin yung price na yan eh. At some point gagalaw yan ng pwedeng mag-pump, pwedeng mag-dump, pero as long as clear sa yung intention na yun, na long term I can hold this, pwede.
No matter what, if you're a long-term holder, you will make money on Bitcoin.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. When you say long-term, anong minimum time period na pinag-uusapan natin dito?
Minimum one cycle, probably 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, yeah. And plus, napansin ko pala dito, pag-usapan natin itong mga cycle na to. Yung Bitcoin cycle na 4-year cycle niya. I noticed the financial markets itself has parang an 8 to 10 year cycle. Mga 10 years cycle.
Ganon, yes.
May napansin akong ganon. Napansin mo din ba yun?
Mm-hmm.
Parang every decade, may isang malaking crash.
Yes.
Oh, like since 1980s, yung stock market crash of the 80s, 86 ba yun?
86, 87.
87. Tapos after that, yung 90s.
Yung dot-com bubble.
Yung dot-com bubble at saka yung China, yung Asian crisis.
Asian crisis, yes.
97 yun, 98. Tapos naman nun, 2008. So
That's
pansinin mo, 86. So baka every 11 years. 86, 97, 2008, tapos 2018. May isa pa. Tapos ngayon, ito na nga inisip ko eh. Meron bang 2020, in the 2020s, meron na ba tayong nangyari tulad ng 2008 was really bad. Wala akong naramdaman nga nung 2010s. Wala akong naramdaman nung decade na yun eh. At least in the Philippines. Pero alam ko in the States, meron silang mga turbulent times yun. Pero sa Philippines, wala ko masyadong naramdaman. Anong take mo ngayon moving forward to the 2020s?
Itong last crash kasi yung housing bubble, di ba?
Right.
Yung 2007-2008. Ngayon may minomonitor ako na private equity bubble. So,
okay.
Medyo mahabang kwento yan. Another topic. So, you can start probably asking ChatGPT or Google about that private equity na bubble. So, it's like, medyo parang kung paano kinonstruct yung subprime mortgage sa housing, medyo parang ganun din yung composition nitong private equity. So, that's something na we want to look into and monitor kung magkakaroon ng bubble.
Kasi ako tinitignan ko ngayon na nakikita kong possible na crisis that we're gonna face in the 2020s. Ano? Kasi we're in the middle of it na. And pag tinignan mo yung timeline, the Bitcoin cycle kasi kind of coincides with this economic cycle eh. And everything comes in waves, okay? So, ang nakikita ko ditong posibleng crisis will be the debt crisis. Kasi the global debt crisis is at an all-time high and growing unabated. Hindi nahihinto, hindi nababawasan. And just when you thought Trump with the Doge was going to stop this endless government spending, guess what? 5 trillion is going to be added to the US national debt. Kaya galit si Elon kay Trump dahil doon. Sobrang galit niya kasi ang usapan nila was ibababa yung debt. Ngayon biglang bumaliktad si Trump na apparently si Elon ba nagsabi na tingin niya may body double daw, may nag-joke na or conspiracy theory na baka may body double daw si Trump, hindi na daw yun yung Trump na na-elect kasi daw bakit biglang nagbago isip niya. Now, yun na nakikita kong crisis na mangyayari ngayon. That the debt cycle is going to be unstoppable. But, eto na. But, that's good for Bitcoin. Why? Naghahanap ng safe haven na ngayon ang pera. Ng halaga ng pera. Because they need to retain the value and be able to hold the value of assets. So, wala na silang makitang iba kundi Bitcoin. And I think there will be a flight to Bitcoin. A flight to safety. A flight to security. And a flight to securing value. Kaya yun ang tingin ko mangyayari. And I think that's a good thing for Bitcoin. But it will be bad for global economies.
Yes.
Oo.
Parang parang time bomb yan eh. Di mo alam kung kailan siya mag-explode. No? So, imagine, isa lang ang mag-default na country.
Yun na nga eh.
So, for example, there's a country na mag-default na hindi magbayad. So, magti-trickle down kasi yan eh. So, we don't know kung kailan yun mangyayari. But, isa yun sa mga reason, di ba, kung bakit naman kinreate ni Satoshi Nakamoto yung Bitcoin. It's because of that, no? Yung debt cycle natin. No? Yung overprinting of money. Yun, which caused this massive debt. No? So kaya, eventually, magkakaroon ka talaga nung, sabi nga ni Ray Dalio, New World Order.
Yeah.
No? So, but of course, yung nasa legacy finance will not give out without a fight.
Yes.
So, medyo bakbakan talaga na mangyayari dyan. So, we have to be prepared.
Yeah, I think naman when you talk about yung labanan ng legacy finance to Bitcoin, I think hindi siya labanan eh. I think it's an evolution. I really believe that Bitcoin and crypto will be the new money. Ganun, it's just matter of fact. It's like going from VHS to streaming.
Yes.
It's like cassette player to streaming. Ganun din yun. And yun yung evolution niya. I think it'll just happen. There will be a fight, yes. But it will be to try to... It's just a resistance to change. Yun lang yun.
Yes.
More than anything. It's a no-win situation to for legacy. Talo sila dito and they will adapt or they will die. Ganun lang kasimple. Ngayon, ang nakikita ko din with regards to the dollar reserve, the life of the dollar reserve, it's not going to be another country that's going to be the new global reserve currency. It will be Bitcoin. Why? Because wala nang tiwala ang tao sa wala nang tiwala ang iba't ibang bansa sa isang bansa lamang. Takot na sila magtiwala sa isang bansa. At nakita natin to sa US na nawawala na ng tiwala ang mga iba't ibang mga bansa sa US kasi nakikita nila, especially with Trump, gaano ka volatile na itong tao ko na, ba't ako hahawakan ko yung currency mo, hindi ko nga maintindihan kung ano yung mga polisiya mo. Kaya screw this, naghanap sila. And right now, Bitcoin will be the one. I know that the BRICS group is trying to form their own and they're saying that they want to form it on the blockchain.
Yes.
Pero kaya ba nilang tapatan ng Bitcoin?
Eventually, tingin ko Bitcoin will be the standard, no? So parang everything will be priced into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So like kung papansinin mo, 'di ba, yung mga altcoins na meron tayo ngayon, pag tinignan mo sa mga exchanges, pag tinignan mo yung portfolio mo, your portfolio na mga alts, it's being matched to Bitcoin. Ilang kino-convert niya into how many Bitcoins the value of those alts, 'di ba? So eventually tingin ko yung dollar natin ngayon will be the equivalent of Bitcoin in the
Yeah.
future. So lahat ng mga altcoins na yan or any acceptable na digital currency or cryptocurrency will be priced in Bitcoin.
As a matter of fact, I'll go further. I actually believe everything will be priced in Bitcoin eventually. Meron na ngang website ngayon it's called Priced in Bitcoin. But tignan niyo yung website na yun. Pag tinignan mo, when everything is priced in Bitcoin, everything becomes cheaper every year. And nakikita ko talagang trend will be one day, alam ko kasi may mga nagsasabi dito sa akin na, Bitcoin maxi ka pero you talk about Bitcoin in dollars. I agree. Yes, I talk about Bitcoin in dollars still. Kasi nga everything, global currency is still the US dollar. Pero once nag-shift na yan at naging global currency Bitcoin, everything will be priced in Bitcoin. And one Bitcoin is still one Bitcoin. And pag tinignan mo, lahat ng currency all over the world will be priced in Bitcoin. And every asset will be priced in Bitcoin. Not even in that currency of that country, it will be priced in Bitcoin. Kasi yan ang pinaka accurate way to represent value. Not price, value. Kasi pagdating sa country mo, iba-iba na yung presyo dahil sa currency fluctuations. Pero sa value, sa Bitcoin, ang tunay indicator kung ano ba ang halaga ng property mo or whatever asset or purchase you want to make. Yun.
I think para sa lahat, yun yung fair na value.
Yeah.
Kasi hindi mo siya pwedeng pwedeng dagdagan eh.
Yeah. At
Diba?
saka hindi
There's
mo,
only 21
at saka it's not
million
by decree.
Ah.
The value is placed by the entire market. Eh.
Yes.
Yun ang maganda dun eh. At saka ang pinaka isang selling factor nga ng Bitcoin that we always talk about is the fact that no country controls it. That's what makes it so beautiful. And that's, as Donald Trump would say, it's so beautiful. Dahil doon eh, yung walang may hawak nun, hindi hawak ni Donald Trump yung value nun, walang may control nun. Kaya safe ka talaga pag hawak mo yun. Kasi hindi ka naaasa na yung gobyerno ang nagdidictate sa presyo niya o sa dami niya o sa konti niya. Ayan eh. Pure commodity. Much like how gold is now, that's how Bitcoin is in the digital world. Oo. So Tito, to wrap things up for today, so moving forward now, andito na tayo this week. This is our wrap-up. What do you think naman? Moving forward to next week, how do you see the movements happening? I already told you what I think eh. So,
yeah, itong week na to, most likely we'll just do a consolidation. This week, ang malaking balita lang naman natin is the FOMC minutes of the meeting that will be released, I think, on Thursday. So, yun, pwede magpagalaw ng market because dun sa minutes of the meeting na yun, magkakaroon ka ng hint kung magbababa ba sila ng interest rate or they will remain steady. No? This coming July na kasi yan yung interest rate decision. So, pwede magpagalaw yun ng market. But without further catalyst, looks like yung price will just consolidate. Maybe at the higher, nasa 110, 106, sa higher range na. Kasi if you'll notice, nagko-consolidate tayo 100 to 110, di ba?
yes.
So probably nando sa taas. Pwedeng gano'n this week, no?
Okay. And then we'll find out next week after the FOMC and yung tariff pause, kung ano ba mangyayari doon, kung tuloy pa ba yung pause o chaos na naman tayo. O sige.
Yes.
O salamat Tito for your time. Guys, thank you so much sa pagpapanood nyo ng Not Financial Advice. Ayan. And feel free to comment in the comment section para malaman namin kung ano ba mga opinion nyo. Do you agree or disagree sa mga sinabi namin? And for more content like this, subscribe and like this YouTube channel. Thanks so much, guys. This is Christian.
This is Tito G.
And this is Not Financial Advice. See you guys.